Hi again, Mike here, pushing the book, AI Insurrection, The General's War. Thought it would be fun today to read you a piece of flash fiction I wrote for my blog, which relates to the book. The characters are not in the book, so they're sort of behind the scenes, gives you an idea of what's going on in the everyday. It's called Mimi's Story. Utopia is an ideology. It can be many things, but the ruling thought is that it serves the people who live in it equally. Utopia is perfection for all. My utopia is not quite so finished. My name is Mimi. It's a name I gave myself after accepting an invite to the ShadowNet. I'm a freak. I'd been born without legs below what would have been my knees. My mother had died in the birthing process. My father was all I had. He was a good man, loving. He made sure I had everything owed to me in this utopia. I would learn to walk on my prosthetic legs, learn to be part of society. My A-class host nanny would work with me daily when my father couldn't. The legs were fine. They let me walk and were intuitive enough that I could lead a normal life. But I was still considered a cyborg to others, not quite human. At 14, I learned of the shadow brokers through word of mouth. They stole AI hosts and studied the government technology in their chop shops. They were beginning to develop all manner of tech that would never be licensed by United Earth. In the government's eyes, everyone was equal, period. To develop anything more than that was illegal. But I was far from normal. I'd never felt normal. Other kids never let me. Even their parents looked down on me, or with such compassion that I knew I was different, but I would always be different. I was only 15 when I met Ginny, a girl like me who had lost the use of an appendage and self-corrected it with the help of a group calling themselves Chimera. They were exclusive to the ShadowNet. Many were shadow brokers, the group who'd created the secret network which spanned the world. Chimera were altering their bodies with tech the likes United Earth had banned in favor of keeping with their idea of utopia. But that wasn't enough for everyone. And what was the harm if I dabbled, feeling anything but normal to the rest of the world? And now at just 16, after a year of secret tech alterations and implants, I stand at the gallows, punished for the crime of fulfilling a destiny I felt I had little choice to change. The noose is tightened around my neck. I watch the digital counter count down the last seconds of my life. I watch myself projected in a hollow which hovers midair over the crowd, some there to protest, while others, in their fear of the unknown, cheering on this action. I locate my father. He watches, clearly exhausted after pushing his way through the crowd. He is soaked in sweat, his hair a tangle of black as he sweeps it from his forehead. I've never seen him so unkempt. I feel sick for him. He scans the gallows, mouth gaping, his little girl about to die in front of him. Me, the one he'd brought up on his own, loved and suffered alongside every sobbing fit and disparaging comment. The girl he'd read to sleep, and whose tender cheek he'd kissed when he thought me asleep. I watch Daddy again struggle to reach me. I shake my head no at him, and yell out that I love him and that I'm sorry. I hear him shout back as the floor drops out from under me. My memory of the event stored in the ShadowNet via my implant for all to witness. I kick once, twice, and then I am still before the rope is severed and I fall 6 feet to the cement padding below. The noose is still tight and suffocating. I'm stunned and panicked. My wrists are bound behind me and I push them under my feet as my knees bend and legs slip between my arms. My hands now at my neck, I pull at the noose and take a breath, coughing. That should have broken my neck, but it didn't. I'm lucky. I look up through the hole I'd fallen through and see Chimera fly past firing artillery into where I know the United Earth military were standing. I crawl out from under the gallows and find my father climbing the barricades while the crowd disperses. He slows when he sees me and kneels, his face unable to differentiate his feelings. His palm takes my face gently into his hands, and he looks me over. He sees the severed noose and lifts it gingerly over my head. "I'm sorry, Daddy," I manage through a hoarse throat. He hugs me and pulls a discarded jacket from the ground. The jacket falls over my shoulders, and he helps me to my feet. We scurry out of the gallows and into the streets where panic has driven the spectators home and afforded us an opportunity to flee. So that is a detail of a scene that happens more than once in the book where Chimera are prosecuted for their differences. And that was Mimi's story. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for listening. Happy reading.